What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Stay Fresh production. And welcome back to another installment of Discovery. Today I have a house that I've been spending a lot of time with. It's been a while since I've actually smelled these fragrances because I wanted to kind of save myself and get at least somewhat of a second first impression live on camera for you guys. This house reached out to me over the summer. They've been around for a few years, but they've been getting some recent traction on YouTube, I've noticed. And this is the house of Masque Milano, or Masque Milano, coming out of Italy. So I appreciate you, Alessandro, for reaching out to me and allowing me to experience these fragrances here. We have 10 fragrances, 9 are in sample form, which they sent me their entire Discovery set. And they actually were very gracious enough to gift me with their newest creation, which you may have seen other reviews on. And this is entitled Homage to Hemingway. There's the front, sorry. And we'll be talking about this fragrance very shortly. So let's just dive right into it. I'm going to spray each one, kind of remind myself of what it smells like, and then of course let you guys know what it smells like and what I think about it. First one up, we're going to start with actually the first one I ever smelled. This is entitled Monte Cristo. Now if I remember correctly, this is a pretty heavy tobacco based fragrance, and if I remember, this is a strong fragrance, so I'm gonna try to be very light with my spraying here. Oh yeah, this is a powerful scent, kind of like a resinous tobacco, pretty dark. Wow, not much sweetness, but a little bit is in there. Again, resinous tobacco, and it's actually a little bit boozy. There might be some rum or something, or whiskey. I think it's rum though. Definitely woody for sure. And there is sweetness in there. I feel like the sweetness is coming from either like benzoin or maybe vanilla or something like that. Really, really nice. Very masculine. Very in your face. This is a bold statement scent. So this is one to check out if you like these kind of fragrances. Tobacco, boozy, woody, a little bit sweet, resinous, a little bit daring, but again, if you're into this stuff, you'll enjoy that one. So that's Monte Cristo. We'll set that aside. Up next, we're gonna do La Tessa, which has gotten probably the most. I did not bring La Tessa. Let me go grab it. We'll be right back. Got La Tessa. This one has probably been talked about the most on YouTube as of lately. If I remember, it's a pretty heavy iris scent. I think there's multiple types of iris in this fragrance. Very high quality iris. So let's see what we're dealing with here. One more. That may have been too much. We'll see. Oh wow, yeah. This is so beautiful. Man, in fact, I like this a lot more than the first time I smelled it. Kind of has that little bit of that lipstick quality, but so smooth. It's in no way aggressive. A little powdery, round around the edges for sure. There's a brightness to it. There's like a bubbly effervescence to this fragrance. In fact, I remember there might be some kind of like champagne accord, I think. Something like that. Oh, it's so refreshing. Totally unisex. If you like this kind of effervescent, bubbly, but smooth and round, slightly powdery iris fragrance, I think you will dig this. There's got to be some kind of citrus in here too, making it even more bright at the top. And I think it dries down to some leather. It actually changes quite a bit as it dries down from what I remember. Really enjoy this stuff. This is a special scent. And again, I like it more than I did the first time I smelled it, so that is La Tessa. Up next, we're gonna do Times Square. I think I remember there's supposed to be some kind of glossy lipstick accord. We'll see about that. All right. Oh man, yeah. This is sweet, almost candy-like. Definitely reminds me of this kind of, this glossy lipstick thing. I mean, the picture that I think this fragrance is trying to paint is kind of a dark one. If you're thinking about New York City, we're talking about like New York City in the 1970s, which if you don't know much about Times Square during that time, totally different place from what it is today. Definitely grungier, definitely dirtier, and the types of people you would find walking around, yeah, they're just coming from different walks of life. We'll just say that. So if you can imagine who would be wearing glossy lipstick, you can probably think about where that's coming from. And it kind of represents that. There's a sweetness and an elegance to it, but there's something in the background that's kind of dirty, but not off-putting. I do think the dirtiness comes from tuberose, if I'm not mistaken. I know there's a lot more to this fragrance. There's quite a bit of complexity to this one, but I can't remember all the notes right now. So you have to forgive me on that, but this is a special one. This one definitely leans a little bit more feminine, in my opinion. So that is Times Square. Next, we're gonna do Mondial. Man, wow, okay. This one, it's spicy. It kind of reminds me of like an herbal spicy tea. I'm not certain that there's tea in here. In fact, I remember thinking there was tea when I first smelled it, but I realized later that there is no tea. But there's lots of spices, maybe cardamom is in here. And there's definitely something resinous about this, something very balsamic, almost like frankincense or myrrh. It really grounds the fragrance. If I remember correctly, it kind of dries down to get just a little bit more creamy and woody from sandalwood in the base. Definitely unisex fragrance, but the spiciness does kind of lend it to help be a little bit more masculine, in my opinion. So this is a nice one. This is Mondial, very high quality, as with all of these thus far. Up next is going to be Romanza, which I don't quite remember much from this fragrance. Also, I will say this, each one of these fragrances is intended to paint a very particular picture and scene, and they actually tell you what that picture and scene is on the website, and they do it in very great detail, and I really appreciate the work that they put into describing the essence of these fragrances. Wow, this one, very floral, pretty powdery. I get like this almost candied bouquet of flowers. It's sweet and floral. I think there's like violet in here, maybe jasmine, and I think there's a bit of a warm sweetness to the base. I think there's maybe some amber, and if I remember, maybe even some myrrh, something like that. It is a little resinous. Again, this one tends to lean a little bit feminine, in my opinion, but it is kind of unisex. These are a little bit different on skin, so that is also something else to note here. This is also a good one, and something that I am enjoying more the second time around. The first time, I spent some time with all of these on skin, and I made my thoughts and, you know, had my opinions, but coming back months later, you know, it's really special. That's why I think it's always a great idea to revisit fragrances that maybe you didn't like in the past, because that's all part of the journey. Your tastes change, things evolve, and you'd be surprised to see what you like that you did not like previously. All right, up next is gonna be, I think, one of my favorites from the house, and this is entitled Russian Tea. Now, I do have a video coming out in the near future featuring my family, and I'm having them smell various fragrances that I really enjoy for the cold weather this year. I don't know if that will be up before this one. Either way, this is one of the fragrances I had them smell, Russian Tea. Unfortunately, they weren't crazy about it, but you'll have to see the video to see their actual reactions. But I love this scent. It's pretty strong. A lot of these are borderline beast mode. This is one of them. What I get out of this, oh, this is so gorgeous. Black tea, as per the name. Quite a bit of peppermint, so it is very fresh and minty, almost mentholy in a way, but in a good way. And there's a sweetness from raspberry, if I'm not mistaken, as well as some incense, which makes it a little smoky, maybe some birch in there. Add some woods to the base. Man, this is a really nice scent. I love this, it's very comforting. The first time I smelled it, I deemed it, this is my favorite thus far. It just makes me feel good. The times that I've worn it, I've been wearing it through this sample. I took this on a trip with me. This is really, really nice. Again, I think my favorite from the house. I would love to get a bottle of that sometime, we'll see. And that is Russian Tea. All right, thanks for bearing with me. We're gonna go ahead and talk about this bottle. Again, this is called Homage to Hemingway. And this is a vetiver-based scent. This is a very earthy and woody scent. I think we have 3 different types of vetiver, one from Haiti, one from Java, and then another one called vetiver heart. I'm not sure exactly where that comes from. The cool thing about these fragrances is that they feature relatively new and upcoming perfumers, and they really like to highlight them, and they even put their names on the bottle. If you look at the top there, you can see it says Fanny Ball, who I don't know much about other than the fact that she made this fragrance, but each fragrance has a different perfumer. In fact, I haven't been reading them, and that is my fault. Each one of these samples has the name of the perfumer listed below the name, which is really awesome that they're getting different people for all. I think there's 10 fragrances right now. But this, let me give you a spray of this. Again, very earthy and woody. So small spray of that one. I think there's rhubarb and ginger in here. It's pretty bitter off the top with that vetiver. There's even some leather in the base if I'm not mistaken. So very dry but kind of rich, and again woody and slightly aromatic fragrance. It is a vetiver bomb. So if you like vetiver, you will love this fragrance because it is high quality vetiver. And I think the other elements to it really make it interesting, so it's not just vetiver. Again, there's that leather, there's that ginger and rhubarb, which kind of adds some zing and a little bit of interest to the scent. And I think I remember it dries down even more woodiness with some cedar wood down in the bottom. I do have to say, this is not my favorite scent from the line, but it is so high quality, I totally appreciate it, and I have worn it multiple times. I plan to get some more wearings out of it, and I plan to get to know it even better. I took copious notes on it. I'm not really going to read you all these notes because I wanted to feature the entire house. But I think you get the idea of what it smells like, and definitely check it out if you're interested in a high quality vetiver fragrance that is homage to Hemingway. Up next is also going to be another popular one, and this is a special one because look at the color of this juice. Like, look at that dark, rich, ambery color. This is called Tango. All right. Oh man, this is gorgeous. Wow, this is rich. It's sweet. It's deep. I think I get some kind of like a benzoin or vanilla in there. It reminds me of Grand Soir from Maison Francis Kurkdjian, but this is a little bit denser than Grand Soir. Definitely quite resinous, which leads me to believe that there could be some benzoin in here, but I'll have to double check on that. So rich. I think there's more to it. There might be some florals in the heart, but definitely some musks and some resins in the base. So rich and deep. The first time I smelled this, it did not remind me of Grand Soir, but now it's screaming that vibe, Grand Soir. This is so nice. Again, I like it more than I did the first time. And again, I smelled it maybe 6 or 7 months ago. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And that is Tango. Okay, we just have 2 more. Next up is going to be Alba, which I'm probably butchering the name of that. And if I remember, this is another one of my favorites from the house. I think this is supposed to be something fresh, maybe almost aquatic. Oh yeah. This is so nice. It's fresh, definitely aromatic, kind of a lemony quality to it. Has a woody base from what I remember. Kind of sweet, which I think maybe there's some like tangerine in here. Again, very citrusy up top. I think it has a bit of a green and floral heart. Oh, so nice. I love this fragrance. Again, this might be my second favorite from the house. This is really, really nice. Very high quality, kind of smooth, but again, kind of sharp and piercing with the citrus, but so, so pleasant. All right. That's Alba, and we're on to the last one. Thank you guys for bearing with me here. Here's the final one. This is entitled Lucid et Ombre, which I believe translates to basically light and shadows or light and dark. If I remember, this is one of the most interesting concepts because it is meant to kind of represent the style of photography or visual art known as chiaroscuro, which is basically using light and darkness, light and shadow in very, I guess, purposeful ways and trying to paint the picture of a subject using very little light and with shadows on very particular parts. And I should be featuring some images that kind of give you an idea of what that means. Now this is nice. This is an incense-based fragrance, but it's not that smoky. This fragrance is basically split up in terms of the note breakdown into like light and dark accords, and you know, within each accord you have different fragrance notes. instead of a traditional, top, heart, and base. And there's actually not a whole lot of notes to this. I think you get maybe some florals, some white florals like tuberose and jasmine, maybe even some cedarwood in the base. But again, lots of incense. Not churchy though. And I really kind of sense what they're talking about in terms of this duality between light and dark coexisting, really painting the picture of a subject. So nice. There's a bit of an aromatic nature to it, so it's not too dense and heavy with the incense. So, in a nutshell, that is the house of Masque Milano. I would love to spend more time on all of these fragrances and do them all more justice, but I do recommend, again, you check out the website down below to get a little bit more of an idea of the house and of their vision. If you have any questions or any comments about any of these fragrances, let me know in the comments. If you smelled any of these and you enjoy any of these, let me know in the comments. Let's talk about it. Masque Milano and Alessandro, thank you so much for sending me these fragrances to explore and discover and to ultimately review. I know you guys did not ask me to do a review, but I was so compelled by these scents that I wanted to share my thoughts nonetheless. So thank you once again, and thank you guys for tuning in. Peace. I'll see you guys in the next one.